Can you list your product on Amazon without a UPC barcode? The answer to that is yes, but should you list your product without a barcode or should you list your product with a barcode? In today's video, we will discuss all of this. We will also cover what is a UPC barcode, what is GTI exemption, and how you can apply for GTIN exemption for your brand and your branded products. Basically, we're discussing everything that you possibly need to know about barcodes. Let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Orin and welcome back to my channel. If you're interested in learning more about online businesses, mindset, and all things entrepreneurship, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you list a product on Amazon, you will need a UPC code. But what is a UPC code? A UPC code is just a barcode that is used for tracking your product. A company called GS1 is the company who creates and issues these barcodes. There are many websites where you can go and get your barcodes, but you have to make sure that these are verified sellers. For example, a very popular one is Barcode Mania. And so from these websites, you can buy one at a time, or you can even buy in hundreds together. There are many other websites of verified resellers for barcodes. I will give you some of the names at the end of this video. It has to be mentioned on their websites that these barcodes are GS1 issued. Basically, these resellers go and buy barcodes from GS1 in bulk and then they sell you in units. And that's why they're able to sell you one barcode at a time. Now, the downside of using these barcodes is that you can sometimes get into issues with Amazon when you list your product with these barcodes. But all you have to do is open a case with Amazon and show them the UPC barcode and verify that it is a correct UPC barcode and that no one else has used it. This process can sometimes be very overwhelming, especially for new sellers, and you may think that these barcodes, they don't work, or what's gonna happen now. But as soon as you verify it, Amazon will verify it from their side. And once that's done, you'll be good to go and Amazon will allow you to list your product. Now, the best place to buy your barcode is from GS1 directly. The main website is GS1 Global, but if you're in the UAE, then we also have here GS1 UAE. However, if you are in the UAE, you'll have to keep two things in mind. One is that you need to have a business license, and the other thing is that you cannot really buy one barcode at a time. You have to buy in bulk from their website according to their packages, and that can get a little expensive. These barcodes will be registered under your name and you will never get into any issues with Amazon if you directly buy the barcodes from GS1. Now, the place where I do not want you to go and get your barcode is from eBay or places like eBay. Even if they say they're GS1 issued, it's still best to avoid them. There are a lot of sellers on there who sell fake barcodes and it is not a good idea. Amazon doesn't like it at all. Most of the times they don't accept it, and chances are that you will get into problems with Amazon for these barcodes. It's always best to stay away from unnecessary things that Amazon does not like, because you never know with Amazon, you don't want to get your account suspended. Now, how many barcodes do you really need? If you just have one product right now and one variation, then one UPC code is all that you will need. But if you're selling multiple different variations of your product, you'll need a UPC code for each of your variation that you offer. Basically, each of your product will need its own UPC.
Let's have a quick look inside our Amazon Seller Central. So once we log into the Seller Central and in our dashboard, all we have to do is go to the menu and go to add products, and that will lead us to this page. So this is basically the first step of adding your first product on Amazon. So we will click here. I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. Of course, it's going to be a product that's not sold on Amazon because it's your product. Then that will bring us to this page where we have to put our item name and our product type. So say for example, you're selling bags. So just for the purpose of this video, we're going to do bags. Okay, so the next one is product type. So here basically we are going to explain what kind of a bag we have. So now that I've typed bag, I'll get an option to search for my product type. So we are going to click on select product type, and so that will bring us to this page, which is the product category. Here you can just select your product category, or you can even use the search bar to find it. As our product is a bag, we are going to have to find something that fits. So possibly it's going to be fashion. So we're going to go and click on fashion. So inside of fashion also there are a bunch of different categories. Our target audience for this is women, so we're going to select women, and then handbags and shoulder bags, and then from here we are gonna select whichever kind of bag we have. They have a ton of options here. We're gonna go ahead and select clutches, and that will bring us to the main page of listing our product. So we're going to come back to this page and touch on this later, but I basically want to show you guys now where exactly they're asking for your UPC code. The last option, which is the product ID, this is basically where your UPC goes, and then from this box, from the drop down, you can select whichever one it will be.
So that was basically all about UPC. Now let's talk about GTIN exemption. A GTIN is a unique and internationally recognized identifier for a product. GTIN stands for Global Trade Identification Number, basically the product ID, and it's a unique number given to every product sold on Amazon. Not to be confused with barcodes. A UPC barcode is the symbol with black lines, the actual black lines with those spaces that you see on the label that are read by the scanner at the point of sale. The GTIN is the identification number under it. The lengths of these could be different depending on where you're selling. The both GTIN and barcodes together help you sell your products all over the world. And this is where GTIN exemption on Amazon comes in. GTIN exemption is when you don't need a UPC or GTIN for your product on Amazon. Now, is this a good thing for your product or not a good thing for your product? Should you use a UPC barcode or should you not use a barcode? We will discuss all about this at the end of the video, but now let's get into GTIN exemption. People who have some idea about GTIN exemption, they often think that it's mainly for handmade products or generic products or something like that. But that is not really the case. Of course, it doesn't apply to every product. It depends on the type of brand and product you're selling. So when can you apply for GTIN exemption? It is when the GTIN is not provided by the brand or the manufacturer. When you are the source of origin and you are the brand and the manufacturer and want to sell and have no barcodes. Or maybe you have more than one product in a bundled pack. So how do you apply for a GTIN exemption?
So now we are back inside of our Seller Central and back to this page. And so if you scroll down, you'll find what's a GTIN, and you can click this and learn a little bit more about GTIN, and I do recommend this. We are going to click on learn more and go inside of this page. So like I said, I definitely want you to go through this and read everything about GTIN exemption. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down. So this is the request a GTIN exemption part, and here we are going to go and click on I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon, and then that'll bring us back to the category page. So here we're going to find our category again, which is fashion if you're doing the bag, and then women, and then the next one would be handbags and shoulder bags. And from here, for example, we do baguettes this time instead of clutches. So now we're going to fill this out. So let's, for example, do modern woman's baguette bag or B bag. Basically, this is your item name. You write whatever your item is. So from here, we're going to choose something like a fashion handbag, shoulder bag, maybe this one. Next, if your product has variations, then you're gonna click this box, and then of course this one is your brand name. And then of course this part we are not filling out because we don't have a barcode, so we are gonna click on I don't have a product ID, and then we are going to click next. And so this is what they're saying. To list Jacob's product, you need to provide a valid product ID. Please enter the product's GTIN UPC to continue listing. And then it also says that to edit the ASIN, that's restricted and all those things. So it looks like that this brand already exists. So let's just try with my name. Let's do Orin. And then we're gonna do next. And so this is what has come up. It says you have entered a brand name that has not been approved by Amazon. You need to apply for approval to list this product using this brand name. So basically from here you can apply to sell, you can do next, and then in the next page if your name is approved, then you'll get a green check mark.
They will send you an email saying if it has been approved. They will give you the exemption for the full category, and it will mostly also say that the validity is unlimited, meaning you can use this forever as long as you are selling under the same category and selling under your brand. Basically now you are using your brand name and not a barcode. When you go to list your product, you will no longer have the star aesthetics that is usually beside the product ID, and you can completely leave that blank. Normally it's a must, you have to provide the product ID, but now you no longer need it because you have successfully registered for your GTIN exemption. You can leave that blank, and once you fill out all the information and click save and finish, what you're going to see is Amazon has replaced the empty space with your actual ASIN. Basically, you'll see your ASIN in your product ID. Very straightforward and very simple. That is how basically you get a GTIN exemption for your category, for your brand. Now the question is it a good thing or a bad thing for your brand? A UPC barcode is very important if you plan to sell in retail, on other marketplaces, or on your website. A barcode is an identification for your particular product. GTIN exemption is easy and simple to get and use only if you plan to sell on Amazon exclusively. If you think you don't need a barcode now and you want to get the GTIN exemption and you may need it later, you can always switch from the exemption to the barcodes, but this is going to be a lot of work. If you decide to go with the UPC barcodes and not the exemption, these are some verified reseller websites. Apart from Barcode Mania, there is Nationwide Barcode, Snap UPC, and Speedy Barcodes. There are many more, but these are some of the good ones. But even if you are on these websites, you must check if these are GS1 issued barcodes. So now it's completely up to you. You need to decide if it's going to be barcodes or GTIN exemption depending on the kind of business you're trying to establish. And that's basically all that you need to know about barcodes and GTIN. If this video was helpful or added any value, please give us a big thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and thank you so much for watching.